earlier. Barakafai. First and foremost, I'd like to say Barakafai Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai.
Shalom.
Yes, like it's one second. First and foremost, I'd like to say Barakafai Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS that rule well, and salutations to all of the sincere ICAM worldwide. This is a quick GMS Hangouts from London in regards to the topic of using the world and not abusing it. Basically, the topic of balance. Learning how to be both abound and to be abased. Because at the end of the day, in this truth, you're gonna have a lot of lows, but you're also gonna get it balanced out with some highs. Because your heart ultimately won't leave you high and dry. You gotta know how to like appreciate the good times, but also know that the hardships make you stronger. Now, what I'm going to start with is Sirach, the 2nd chapter, verse 1. It says, "My son, if thou comes to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble," which basically alludes to the fact that if you come into this truth, you're going to suffer. You're going to go through a lot of hell. You're going to go through adverse tribulations and temptations. But you got to have the mentality of, this is purging me for righteousness. This is getting my spirit inclined for Yahweh Hashem Shai's purpose. You got something to say?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's right. That's right.
Yo, and at the end of the day, it's not an easy path, man. You know what I mean? Because like when we went into the kingdom the first time, and our people, when we came out of Egypt, went through the wilderness, although the Most High split the Gulf, took us through the desert for all of those years, our people didn't appreciate shit. They didn't appreciate the fact that Yahweh Hashem Shai literally led us by a chariot by night, man, a pillar of salt, you know. That, man, they saw all of the blessings, and because of the fact that Israel didn't have to put in no work for it, ultimately our people just cast it aside like a piece of shit. But hey, man, the kingdom to come. Huh?
I was going to say, come. Yet you had you had Rahab saying, "Look, man, we have heard what your Lord did for you, man." You know, yeah, our people, Israel rules just like, yo, well, you know.
That's right. Even the heathen appreciate it.
You brought us out here, Moses, to die of thirst. Is that what it is? That's what our people say. And the scriptures say that in Ezekiel 4, is it 4 and 3? Or 3 and 5, 6. Hard-headed people. If I had sent you to a people of a strange language, they would have hearkened, man.
Hey, man. Because one thing you'll notice is whenever Israel ran into the heathen around the time of Joshua, the heathen gave reverence to Yahweh Hashem Shai. Even though they had their own gods, they knew that the most higher power, the God of Israel, was the God of was the one, and then they knew that Israel was raised up above them. They knew Israel's position, but Israel didn't appreciate that. Israel just wanted to be with the heathen, wanted to make marriages with the heathen, and that's the continuous problem that we have in the society today. That's why, as a prophet of the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Shai, you got to purge your mind from this. But I'm just going to continue on quickly, and it says here in the 3rd chapter, a way that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. What's that last end? That time of Jacob's trouble. We pray and hope that Yahweh Hashem Shai purges us and keeps us thoroughly furnished and ready for that time. You know, it talks about Isaiah chapter 33 and 6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of their times. That's one of them 101 scriptures, but that's essential, man. That's really going to be one of the key ingredients to making it through the time of Jacob's trouble, because everyone out here is not going to be expecting this, man. Like, people out here see a little flood or a shooting with 1 or 2 people dying, and they get freaked out. It's going to be death on a mass scale, bro. Like, shit that's worse than what's happening in Iraq and all of those war-torn countries, Syria and all of that. You're going to see spiritual things happening. It's going to be crazy, man.
Can I get back to real quick in Daniel?
Yeah, go on.
Right, so Daniel 12 and 1 says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since."
Let me just say this real quick. It said Daniel will stand up. You see, the world talks about spiritual intervention, but there's going to be spiritual intervention on a real high level. Michael is one of the archangels of the Lord, man, and he's going to be involved in what's going on. You know, you read through the scriptures, and Yahweh Hashem Shai always sent down angels for different purposes. And he's going to send down his archangels. Yahweh Shai himself is going to come down to waste this world away. That's why the scripture says, knowing the times, what you also... knowing the times you also so like your and when it says knowing the time is high time to wake out of sleep.
Yeah, wake out of sleep. Yeah, let me get that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, man, there's going to be spiritual intervention on such a high level, on a high frequency. The angels are going to be out here. Yahweh Shai is going to be raining down fire on this place as well, man. It ain't going to be a joke out here in these streets soon. You got it.
It says Romans 13:11. It says, and that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
That's right. So, like, on the topic of balance, you got to maneuver in this world. You got to do what you got to do. You might have a job. You might be doing all right at your job. You want to try, get a little rank in there, get a better pay, so you can help support brotherhood. But at the end of the day, ultimately, you got to know that if it comes time and your Yahweh Shai spiritually comes to you and says, yo, I want you to push this word. I want you to do what you got to do. You got to have the same attitude of the disciples and the apostles. Cast away your nets and follow him. You can't.
That's right.
You can't keep hold of this world on some. But my job's nice, or it pays me decent. Because at the end of the day, everything in this world is fallible, and Yahweh Shai spiritually will always put things in your life to remind you of that. But yeah, so like you're going with the what you was reading before.
Yeah, that was it was reading what, Daniel's?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Daniel's 12 says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, and everyone that shall be found written in the book. The point there is a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time.
Gone. And we when we're out there on the streets, man, we read the accounts of the times Yahweh Shai brought destruction on places. We read the accounts, what the prophets saw and what they perceived. And you got to remember that these were ancient men that the prophets sometimes slayed people to death. You had example in the book of Samuel, man. The prophets were raw men, man. They were actually about their business, man. And you gotta understand that even them, you had Ezra that says, woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? And he had that ancient mentality. So how much more for brothers like ourselves in this modern day society, let alone the people that are not in the truth and have no knowledge of what's about to come, man? It's gonna be a real harsh time, but that's why you gotta literally go through. You got 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved. The only way you're gonna make it through this is with spirituality, man. Physical exercise profiteth little. Everything about this is about balance. The scripture also does say, however, that much study is weariness of the flesh. So you got to make sure that you're balancing yourself out. Because at the end of the day, if you analyze this society to every nook and cranny, you'll go crazy. Because trust me, you can take a walk out your house right now, go to the corner shop. There's going to be about 101 things that you experience that are off. Even from the fact that when you put your clothes on, it's going to be mixed fabric. Everything in this society is off. So you got to understand that we're rehearsing the righteous acts. But Baba Kashar, if you can get that for me, rehearse the righteous acts.
Yeah.
What it is that this is a play rehearsal. This is obviously, this is a rehearsal we're doing right now. And just because it's a rehearsal, however, does not give you an excuse to put it to the side on some, I ain't really going to put the effort in because I'm only going to do it when the time comes for the actual play. That's what a lot of these Israelite camps are doing. A lot of these Israelite camps are on some time to when Yahweh Shai cracks the clouds and comes down and he's ready to take people down. That's when I'm gonna show due diligence. I ain't gonna go out in the wind. I ain't gonna go out in the harsh rain, because at the end of the day, it's all about grace. Totally off. Yahweh Shai requires a servant, to bear his cross, man. As he said, you got that from me, Baba Kishore?
Yes, Judges 5:11 says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers in the place of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
It says the places of drawing water. What's that? Slavery, basically, in short, which is what we're in right now. But also there's a balance to that, because even though we're in slavery, we're still going to rehearse Yahweh Shai's righteous acts, man. Like, the whole purpose of a man is to fear the Most High and keep his commandments. You read about the Most High, we're all extensions of the Most High. The Most High, God have this saying where they call the Most High the Great Spirit.
I've got a precept for you, by the way.
All right, one sec. God have this saying where they refer to the Most High as the Great Spirit, and we're all extensions of the Most High. So really and truly, honestly, Everything that we do is in tune with the Father. And where he's got the balance of the good and the evil, which I'll get into a minute. The same way, you know, the same way the Most High has got a balance of good and evil, man. It's natural that these things occur in our lives because he's created these entities. He's the almighty power. He's made the path that we walk on, man. You know what I mean? Go on, bro. Salaka.
Yeah, I was just telling you I had one prepared, innit? This Romans 3:31 says, "Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law."
Go on, hey, because faith without works is dead. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, man, you know, you read, in fact, because that preludes, that goes on to Matthew's the 25th chapter, and I want to bring that out real quick as well, because what it is you got to have your oil ready, man. You got to have your oil burning. You got to use your talents, because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, although this is ultimately about grace and faith, did not put us on the earth just to slack around and just literally like have that sofa, feet on the sofa, feet on the front table, sat on the sofa kind of attitude until the kingdom comes.
Yeah, that lukewarm spirit. Switch talk about being lukewarm.
That lukewarm spirit, like the brother said, man. You gotta basically be you gotta be diligent, ready at all times. But, 1 second. Well, let me just quickly bring this out real quick. Matthew chapter 25, and I'm gonna read I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna start from Matthew 25 and 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. Yeah. So that's that mentality of, you know, a lot of these Israelite camps have of, well, you know, I ain't never been a weak Jew. You know, I'm gonna make it into the kingdom regardless. A lot of these people, like, you know, you got the Nates, the Yohanas, they have the exterior look, they have the garments, you know, the silky garments, all of that. But you gotta understand that ultimately, hey man, we're kings in the building right now. At the end of the day, spiritually, we might know that we're future kings, but the world don't look at us like we're kings.
Right.
The world looks at us like we're bums on the street corner prophesying and causing a blot on their kingdom. Because what do you think is they look at us like when we're on, you know, 34th Street or wherever brothers are at in the world? They're looking at you like you're a blot on their kingdom. A lot of these people think, I just want to go to Oxford Street and have a little peaceful shopping, and I got these crazy black people talking about they're going to put me in slavery. You know what I mean? But hey, man, that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, like they always go past and these guys are here again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they look at us like an off-scouring, total off-scouring. But that's the beauty of this thing, man, because at the end of the day, man, we're hated for the Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's sake, man. And we love it, man, because that's what I'm saying. We're hated on this side, but we know we're going to receive love on the other. That's why you read in Sirach 33, it tells you, look upon everything the Most High has created, and there's one and the other balance. But I'll get that in a minute. Go on.
This 1 Corinthians 4:9, for I think that the Most High hath set forth us, the apostles, last, as if it were a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men.
That's right. Because
I'm telling you, you're saying about how we're a spectacle, man. People, fuck these guys, man. Fuck again.
Exactly that. And hey, it's spiritual because that's how Israel and the greater society always looked at the prophets, man. When Jeremiah was on the scene, for example, Jeremiah was a young man. He was prophesying to big Israelite men, man. Some would have been warriors, some would have been, you know, like kings and elderly men. And he was going up there and saying, yo, listen, you need to stop what you're doing, or your Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to send these heathen down on you and you're going to be destroyed. And they looked upon him like, yo, who is this child, man? But that's what I'm saying. That's the balance, man. Because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai installed wisdom in a young man, a scrapling, a child, to show that ultimately his power, man, he does what he wills. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the Most High has created so many stumbling blocks over the years for our people. You had King David, man. King David was the youngest of his brethren. He was the shepherd keeper. But because he had great humility, the Most High also gave him great power, man. You know what I mean? He gave him great wisdom and strength. The Most High lifted up King David. King Solomon also, man. You got to understand that all of these men also were a base, man. King David, for all like, you know, he's still a man of the Most High's heart, but he went off, man. He committed adultery, man. He went like, you know, King David was lifted on high, he was brought down low. Same with Solomon. He followed the wives of his women. I mean, it's like the gods of his wives and his women, man. You gotta understand that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is always gonna give you good times, but you're gonna have to go through some hardships also to thoroughly furnish your spirit. In fact, let me just quickly read it. Yeah, let me quickly bring this out. Sirach chapter 33 and verse what's it called? 11. In much knowledge the Lord have divided them and made their ways diverse. Some of them have he blessed and exalted, and some of them have he sanctified and set near himself, but some of them have he cursed and brought low. This is relating to the different nations and the different peoples out there. As clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it as his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to him as he liketh him best. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the sinner against the godly, and the godly against the sinner. So you gotta understand, whether you want to call it good versus evil, yin and yang, whatever the hell you want to call it, this is all Yahweh Shai's program. It says real quick, so look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. Male and female, balance. But in this society, what do you have? You got offshoots, you got a third gender. Man, this like and what's it called? What does the scripture say? A false balance is an abomination to Yahweh Shai, man. Ultimately, man, that's why right, man, Esau has to be eliminated from the equation, because the Most High has made an equation of 1 + 1 is 2, and this man's coming on some it's 1 and a third, or 2 and 1 because I worked out the new equation, and like that's what he's trying to do. I made the 1 a bit longer, so now it's not 2, it's 2 and 1/4, and like, hey man, that's why this so-called white man needs to go, man, because he's anti-life, he's anti-nature, he's anti-everything that's normal. You know what I'm saying? Go on,
talk about how he basically exalts himself as the Most High, man, as God. And it's Ezekiel 28. I love that, verse 9 says, "Who thou say to them that destroy you?" It says, "Nay, oh man." In fact, fuck it. It's right if I get that real quick.
Yeah.
Right. It says Ezekiel 20. I'll just go to the point that I was referencing. The chapter good from the top. But it says, "Will thou say, yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God. Thou shalt be man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee." Right. So when he's being destroyed, man, he's just going to remember that he's just a man.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about in 2 Ezra 13 about how you have you have all these nations trying to fight against the chariots. And what does it say? It says, "But of a multitude, there was nothing to be perceived but dust and smell of smoke." All right, so in that day, Esau's going to find out that he's just a man.
God, the scripture says, man, for their great pride, the city shall be destroyed. Hey, when you have no balance, man, you have pride. You see, Israel to know. Or shall ultimate balance, even in the truth is to know. We're all individuals and tens of thousands, some brothers millions, but at the end of the day, there's still an ordinance. So even if you're going to be a future king, there's still kings above you, and the ultimate king above you is Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawasham, and there's an order. And the apostles we follow, man, they got an order. The ancient apostles knew that Peter was the head. You didn't have John or any of the other disciples come up against Peter in power, man. They followed order, man, balance, because they knew their place. I got this real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, let me bring this real quick. This is the words of Paul. It says, Philippians chapter 4 and 11. Not that I speak in respect of wants. So Paul was out there. He was cursing out some of the times, man. And Paul weren't trying to get brothers money. Or he literally said, "Hey, if we've given you spiritual things, are we not deserving of your carnal?" You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's balance, man. We're out here doing a workman's labor. You know what I mean? And you're out here doing we're out here doing a workman's labor in the spirit, and you got the workman's worthy of his meat. So it says, not that I speak in respect of want, but I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. It says, I know both how to be abased and I know how to be abound. Everywhere in all things, I am not both to be full and to be hungry, both to be abound and to suffer need. And that when you're balanced, ultimately, no matter how good things get for you, you're always going to have a remembrance of when things weren't up on that standard for you. And that's what keeps you grounded. That's what keeps you with a solid foundation. That's when you build your house on that good ground, man. Because you know where you came from, ultimately, you know what I mean? So that's how you know and you maintain where you're going. Yeah, go on, bro.
Yeah, can't. Yeah, this is 1 Corinthians 14:40. It says, "Let all things be done decently and in order." Yeah, just going back off what the brother said about how you what do you call it? You have to what was it? When you had the disciples, they understood the order. They weren't trying to buck up against the order, right? And that's the way, same way we're supposed to be. Everything is supposed to be done decently and in order, man.
But at the end of the day, man, like every part's got its part to play. The left hand, the right hand. You know what I mean? It's all about balance, man. You can't usurp authority. You can't try and play a part that's not your position. The scripture also says, "Seek not what is too high for thee." But ultimately, at the end of the day, man, we all got a role to play. And without, like, for example, not every brother can be the head. Sometimes you got to have a man that's second in command, third in command. Even a brother that's out there holding signs. It's about balance. Like, at the end of the day, people in the crowd are going to need visuals. They're going to need reference points, things to watch. That's why every brother in the
a lot.
Huh?
He also said a lot of the scoffers be coming up because they see that Caesar sign, man.
Exactly. So a brother holding that Caesar sign is important, man. Is balance. Every brother's got a role to play in this, man. And at the end of the day, our lives ultimately is about balance. Because going too far one way, you know what I mean, ultimately might either bug you out because you ain't ready for it, out because they've gone into wayward doctrines. They've tried to, which is too far, and they've tried to delve into all of this flat earth and these odious works of witchcraft out there. You know what I mean? Or ultimately, so too much study, man, into things that are not relevant to the scriptures can bug you out in the same way that being too lazy.
If you ain't grounded, man.
You gotta stay grounded. You also gotta, hey man, you sometimes I'll say it straight, sometimes sometimes you study and then all that you might just chill, just crack some jokes, keep yourself spiritual, of course, but you just brotherly love and according back up, and you just go out there and deal with the world. You share issues that you're going through, but at the end of the day, man, you gotta know that it's balanced. We're gonna have great times in times together in the brotherhood. You're also gonna have great lows, man. I was shy. He had great moments with the disciples. He healed people. He did great works, man. But ultimately, he had to also die on that cross, man.
Yeah.
But he's gonna come back in the kingdom, the great king, man, of Israel. You know what I mean? So he was humiliated on this side, but he's gonna get his crown on the other. Same way we've gone through hell, but we're gonna be made kings and priests.
Can't.
Yeah, man. I mean, unless you got anything else you want to add to that.
Nah, I ain't really got anything. Yeah, I think that was my last preset. We've got judges. Yeah, nice. Yeah, we'll just get this real quick. Hebrews 12:5. Just to bring back the point, says one of the points I was making earlier on when he was reading Sirach. Says, "And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children, my son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him," man. Because you will go through some stuff. The Lord will put you through some stuff, lest you get proud, right? Lest you go into, just go full deep and balls deep into wickedness. Like the Lord will chastise you, man. Say, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom he received. Right, which is why, you go through things, because ultimately it's what the Lord wants you to get right. Wow, man, they'll just leave them to their own devices, and then they look at Esau, man. Esau's been left to his own devices. He's never picked up a tab, right? And then up until this day, and then now it's going to come to pass that he's going to get destroyed. He's going to be like, "What? You never told me."
God. Amen. But also Proverbs 16:4, man. The wicked the Most High has made all things for His purpose, even the wicked for the day of destruction, man.
That's right.
You know, you got the righteous Israel, and you got the wicked Esau, man. And that's like the brother said. You know, sometimes the Most High will put things in your life, whether you're getting a bit too comfortable, and the Most High just puts a spanner in the works, and all of a sudden you realize that job ain't shit, or you might have
that you can lose at any moment.
Done. You know what I mean? You might have a fine honey that you're into, but then the Most High knows that if you settle with that woman, she's gonna mess up your spirit, and then the Most High will stop that from happening. And you might be there thinking, "Oh, I don't understand, man. I thought it was all there in the works." And then
you thought you were through and go.
Ready for
the dunk.
Then
LeBron comes from behind you and spanks the ball out your hand.
You get me? You're around that same chick again at a later stage, and then you see her behavior traits, and you're like, "Yo, that's why you're how done that." I mean, everything's spiritual, man. The Most High deals with balance, man. He's the ultimate measure of balance, and at the end of the day, man, we as His creatures, well, we got to appreciate that and also know that. And where some brothers are all right, some brothers are up there, some brothers are low on the money front and their status in the world. But that's the thing, the Most High has put right in the truth, brothers that are also low in the spirit, brothers that are on different frequencies with different approaches, but at the end of the day, we're all tuned in to the one doctrine, which is Yahweh. I mean, with that, I'll close it up and say, bro, Shabbat and double honors to the apostles of GMS, and salutations. Shalom.
Shalom.